I was scrolling through my Instagram and came across this wild story in one of the Instagram stories. Like I tell you, you'll be surprised where you can find some of these stories that I can talk about on this channel. And this one right here it almost made my jaw hit the floor, mainly because I've heard of this school that I'm about to talk about, mainly also because it's in the same state that I reside in. So in this picture, you see a man by the name of Lucien Brownlee. He is the assistant coach, or at this point, was the assistant coach at Coppin State University, which is an HBCU in Maryland. And this guy literally went above and beyond to try and get connected or basically intermingled with one of the players on the team in which he was the assistant coach for. And I'm going to bring his picture up in a few. Basically, what this guy did is he catfished one of the players on the basketball team and posed as a woman, had a whole conversation with this person. The player thinks that he's talking to a woman, and had this player sending pictures and all types of stuff to him, maybe videos as well, who knows. But then it got discovered that, it wasn't indeed, a woman. It turned out to be a man. And then it went a step further where this guy right here literally held it over this player's head and threatened to release these videos and these images to the public if he didn't continue to send this person images. Basically, think of it as revenge porn, so to speak, because then they'll ruin his reputation, so to speak, of, you're a guy sending another guy these type of images. Thus, people are going to start questioning his sexuality, which, of course, he's not in the academy, but no one would believe that because that's what he was doing, or at the very least, they'll say he's on the down low. So it's a lot, really going on here. Now, if y'all remember, I did a video months ago, last year and a months ago when it came to the update about the basketball player in Virginia who was catfished by what they thought was a woman on one of those dating apps. And then they went to go meet this person. And it turned out it was a crying game situation, aka it was a whole dude. He ended up eliminating this person, went to trial, went to court. He ended up being found not guilty. People are out here playing dangerous games. They are playing dangerous games. But let me go ahead and read the article so you can get some more information. And by the way, this article was posted on Christmas Day, but the story itself has been out for about over a month. And I'm just now learning about it. Somebody call up the Netflix writers because this scandal was made for the screen. A former Coppin State University basketball player is suing an assistant basketball coach for manipulating him into sending nudes and sexually suggestive texts and blackmailing him into taping a sexual encounter before leaking all content when he refused to engage further. According to the Baltimore Brew, Lucien Brownlee, a former guard who also served as director of player development and director of basketball operations, catfish player IBN Williams online in a series of messages. So this guy, before he became the assistant coach for that team, he used to play for the school, so he's well connected to the school. Williams believed that he had been speaking with a woman who had romantic interest in him, convincing him to send photos and racy texts to keep her attention. Although the interaction started off as a romantic connection, the communication from Williams' online interest eventually became toxic as they threatened to release the material if he didn't send more salacious material. Out of fear of losing his scholarship, the player continued to oblige the request. Now listen to that. The player was in fear of losing his scholarship because of this. So that's why they kept sending those images. But let me continue. The lawsuit states that in fear of losing his place on the basketball team, his tuition, room, and board payments, continued to respond to the person messaging him in a futile attempt to appease his tormentor. Juan Dixon, Coppin State basketball coach, was also named in the complaint for his failure to take action as the story unfolded, even forcing Williams to attend practice the very next day it was made public. Dixon himself is a former player, lending his talents to both the University of Maryland and the NBA, where he played for the Portland Trailblazers. It's crazy how they left out that he used to play for the Wizards as well, but let's continue. Coppin State University is also named in the complaint for their failure to support Williams, questioning them harshly and retaliating against the young athlete for bringing bad press to the school by withholding the students' financial aid and housing. This is not a good look for HBCUs, and this is a person who graduated from an HBCU saying that. So you can't call me biased. First, you got that whole situation with Jackson State when the Deion Sanders thing. Now you have this. That's crazy. Like, they literally are giving more cover to the creep, who is him, than to the player. And again, I'm going to bring the player's image up when I'm done reading the article. The way he was treated was abhorrent, said Williams' attorney Daniel Donnie Epstein of the New Jersey law firm Epstein Ostrov in a phone interview. Epstein says that they were able to build a case against the assistant coach despite him pretending to be a third party. Our strong belief is that Lucien himself was the catfisher. Epstein also said that the university and Dixon should have never put Brownlee in such a position of authority after being made aware of previous issues. Apparently, Brownlee has dealt with mental illness in the past. The coach should have known better than to put this person in a position of seniority. Brownlee has yet to make a public statement, but it doesn't appear that he is still employed with the university. He's in the wind, Epstein said. Williams was able to complete the semester online, but has since transferred to a different school. That is sad. That is sad how this player got treated. Now I'm about to bring his image up. This is the player right here who was being catfished. His name is IBN Williams. It's literally spelled IBN. Williams. That's crazy how they treated him. They made it seem like he was the bad guy. He was the one that was being tormented. He was the one that was pretty much coerced into doing all of that stuff that he didn't want to do out of fear he was going to lose everything. He kind of, in a way, he really actually did. The school put him in a very tight spot when they should have gave him protection. And like the article also stated, that coach, that man Lucien Brownlee, should have never gotten a job working for them. If they knew that this guy has some mental issues, he should have never had a job working with them, especially like they said in a seniority position. And now it's making me look at Juan Dixon sideways. And it's crazy because I used to be a fan of Juan Dixon when he used to play at University of Maryland. He was one of the reasons why I actually watched them play back in the day. I remember when they won that championship, like I think it was back in 2004. And then he had went and played briefly, with the Wizards. And now hearing this, that's making me look at him completely different now, because as the coach, you should have been looking out for the best interest of your players. He is or was one of your players, and you just it's like you just continue to let it fester. And the school is just as bad because y'all were the ones that employed him. Y'all let this guy literally damn near get away with ruining this young man's life, damn near. Thank God he transferred to another school and that he got a lawyer, and hopefully his lawsuit goes forward and he is able to successfully win. Because in my honest opinion, he has a very strong case, a very ironclad one where he should be able to win his case, because that is unacceptable. That is wild. That dude who catfished this individual should have been fired on the spot, and he should have had some charges brought up against him. It's one thing when you are pretending to be someone online, because people do it all the time. There's so many troll accounts, but it's another thing when you are threatening to blackmail this person and release images and all types of stuff that should be kept private, but also you were impersonating what he thought was a woman. But again, this is the dangers, y'all, of meeting people online. I mean, I think I have come across more horror stories when it comes to quote unquote cyber dating than just a little bit. And a lot of them don't end well. Some of them end badly, some end in tragedy. And a lot of times for the person who is leading this thing on. This assistant coach, or this now former assistant coach, is very lucky that the victim didn't have a violent streak and go seek them out and unalive them, quote unquote. Because they would have had every right to do so, quite honestly, with what they were doing. But I think what makes this even worse is the fact that the school literally made it seem like it was his fault. They threatened to take away his housing and his scholarship. How was he going to get an education? Where was he going to stay at? Like literally, he was there on a scholarship. He didn't have any loans. And we all know student loan debt is the highest form of debt in America, and it's the only form of debt that you cannot file bankruptcy on. It's horrible out here. Like I said, the school, the assistant coach, the coach, and the school are the real real villains of this story. One, because the assistant coach, well, we already did a rundown of why he's sick as hell. Two, Juan Dixon disappoints me because you should have did more to protect your player. You should have got that assistant coach the hell up out of there the minute that you were aware of this happening. And three, the school, y'all hired him. Y'all should have fired his ass when you got wind of what this was. And it's not so much just wind of it, but when you got proof, there was proof there that got exposed that he was doing what he was doing. To me, it almost sounds like the student, the player, him, was on his way out the door before the assistant coach was. Because in the article it says, to their knowledge, the coach has been fired. But has he been fired? I don't know if I have anybody who watches my stuff who goes to Coppin State University. Because again, when I look at my analytics, I don't really have a lot of people in that age bracket. But just in case, if there is anybody out there who's watching my video right now who goes to Coppin State University or knows somebody who goes there who's aware of this story, can you put down in the comment section below, can you confirm or deny, has this coach been fired? Because if not, y'all just basically gave the victim an upper hand, with this lawsuit going even more. I hope he sues the school for everything he possibly can get out of it. Because that could have been, this whole situation could have been avoided if the school and Juan Dixon had took the step forward and got rid of that coach when they first got aware of what he was doing. If they found out it was just an allegation, they could have put him on some kind of a leave until they got everything squared away. Then once everything came out, fire him. They didn't even do that. They didn't even put the coach on any type of leave. At least get him out, the way, have some kind of investigation done, have some people go to his house and see and go through his cell phone and whatever else he might have in his home. Again, they made it seem like the assistant coach was not doing anything malicious or with any malice intent. This dude was literally catfishing one of the players to try and get something out of him. The crazy part about it is, this is the assistant coach for the same team this kid was playing for. Which means he saw him every single day and never knew the person he was texting the whole time was the assistant coach. He's thinking it's some woman until it got exposed. Imagine having to play with an assistant coach and you found out that that was that person and there was nothing you could do about it. That had to be traumatizing for him, to have to literally be in the same vicinity as the person that is literally trying his best to ruin his life and his reputation and his future. So yes, the assistant coach, the coach Juan Dixon, and the school are all to blame. I hold them all in the very same ain't shit regard. And I hate that I have to say that about Juan Dixon, but damn, you really dropped the ball on that one. You could have been the hero of this story, really honestly, because you work closely with the assistant coach. He works right next to you. In the school, again, you hired him. Why didn't you do a thorough background check? As the article states, this person has an alleged mental illness. Why didn't you background check this guy before you hired him? That's crazy. But I'm glad that the player got out of there. I'm glad that he got a lawyer and that they're suing the school, because that's what it says. It says that he is suing the school. And like, again, get him for everything you can. Bleed him dry if you have to. It is what it is.